What is up, everyone? Today is Tuesday, which means that it's time for another live Q&A. As always, I'm your host, Paul J Lipsky, here to answer all your dropshipping questions. So here on this channel, I make a lot of videos about different ways to make money online, really zeroing in on how to dropship onto eBay and Facebook Marketplace. So what I have the most experience with is what I've made the most money with in terms of e-commerce. So if that interests you, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Check out all the resources I have in the description. Then after you go through all that, if you have any questions, come over to one of these live streams. I do them every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. You can come, you can ask me any questions that you have, and I do my best to answer them for you. So let's see who's here in the chat and what kind of questions that we have. We have Stacy here saying, "Hey Paul, hope you had a good week. Happy to be here. Glad you're here, Stacy. Let me know how I can help." What is up, Robert? So before we kind of get to some of the questions while we wait for people to roll in here, make sure you guys do jump in there and start asking some questions. But I do want to update you on something that came to my attention recently. I got an email from Facebook letting me know about some changes to how they're going to start charging us for Facebook shops. So for those of you who aren't aware, there's really two ways that we can dropship on Facebook. We can dropship directly onto Facebook Marketplace, and doing that's very simple. You already have Facebook Marketplace. If you have a Facebook account, it's easy to get set up because you already have the Facebook Marketplace integrated, whether you know it or not. You can just start listing items up for sale. So it's very fast, very easy to kind of start going that route. But once you're kind of ready to level up, and you want to kind of take things to the next level, you can go ahead and set up what's called a Facebook shop. Now, there's a lot more steps involved with Facebook shops compared to Facebook Marketplace, but there are a lot of benefits as well. One of them being that you can get a ton of automation with Facebook shops that's not available with Facebook Marketplace. You can also set up your shop as a business, whereas with Facebook Marketplace, you have to run it as an individual. So it's not as ideal if you have like an LLC or a DBA that you want to do it under. Just a ton of benefits to shops. And one of the new benefits of it is that they're going to stop charging fees for it. So starting June 1st, Facebook is not going to charge you any selling fees to sell with Facebook shops. They're only going to charge you a credit card processing fee, which every other website does. So that's about 2.9% plus 30 cents. It's a little bit more if the person checks out with PayPal. I think it's like 3.9%, but very, very low. And that's all they charge. I'm not sure why Facebook is doing this. This is kind of perplexing to me. I think Facebook, I thought they were really concentrated on making more money. This is a chance for them to do that, but they're not doing that. But on the other hand, Facebook's one of those companies that would make something as cheap as possible and available to as many people as possible just to kind of draw them in, and then they'll raise fees later, which is very possible. Either way, it means more savings for us if you're using shops, but really the difference is not a ton. If you're selling on Facebook Marketplace, the fee is 5%. So you're looking at like a 2% difference in fee. It's not a huge amount, but it is interesting that Facebook is doing that. And I'm kind of curious why they're doing that and what that means for Facebook shops and Facebook Marketplace. I think the good news about it is that it means that shops and Facebook Marketplace are on Facebook's radar. We were kind of afraid as sellers that Facebook had kind of like forgotten about it. They just kind of set it up. But obviously they're still thinking about it and they're still strategizing with shops and Facebook Marketplace. So that's a good thing. That means they are pouring some sort of resources behind it. We want that because we want the marketplace to thrive. We want it to do well. So I think that's a good sign. And it's always nice to save a little bit of money when we're selling. All right, let's get to some of these questions. Gerardo says, do you recommend selling large items from Walmart to avoid shipping with DoorDash? Yeah, so what Gerardo's talking about is that when you are buying products from Walmart, we do it as drop shippers. We sell stuff from Walmart and then it sells. So we buy it from Walmart to have it shipped to our customer. In the past, when Walmart would ship it, they would ship it out with FedEx or USPS or UPS. So you'd get like a tracking number that you could upload easily into eBay. That changed a couple of years ago where actually eBay stopped. Sorry, I'm trying not to I keep shaking the camera. Walmart wanted the customers to get the items faster. So they actually partnered up with DoorDash, and DoorDash started to deliver items from local stores to customers. So I'm here in Colorado. If I had a customer that was in Nebraska, then Walmart might have a DoorDash driver pick up the item from a store that's in the same town as the customer and just hand deliver it to the customer, basically. I don't think they use DoorDash anymore. I keep saying DoorDash because that's what they were using. I think they ended that relationship, but they still do the same thing, I think, with their own program of some kind. But it's the same concept. So the question is, what do we do in that situation? Because now we don't have a tracking number. There's no tracking number when something's delivered through DoorDash or whatever they use now. So we do have ways around that. We use services like Track Taco to kind of get around that. That would be my recommendation because there doesn't really seem to be any sort of rhyme or reason to when they use DoorDash and when they don't use DoorDash. So I don't think there's a way to avoid it. I tried to see a pattern. I didn't find one. So it's best just to use a service like Track Taco to get a tracking number you can upload. Nerve says, can you do Facebook Marketplace in the UK, and is your course suitable? You really can't do drop shipping on Facebook Marketplace from outside the United States. And that's because when you're selling on Facebook Marketplace, what you want available is called the shipping option. So when you list an item, it will say, hey, how are you going to get this to your customer? You can either do local delivery or you could ship it to the customer. That is the shipping option. Without that, drop shipping is going to be a lot harder to do. It is possible. It's just going to be a lot harder to do. So that shipping option is only really available to people in the United States. So it doesn't really work outside the United States for Facebook Marketplace. Mama says, my account is under review. Which account? You're talking about eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Shopify, something else? Kared's here saying, hey, Paul, I'm loving your Facebook Marketplace course. It's the ultimate step-by-step, in my opinion. Thanks, Kared. Appreciate that. Do you do the necessary updates in this course? When was the last update? Yeah, so Kared, I have to, so anyone who doesn't know, I have two courses out there. I have a course that teaches you how to drop ship on eBay, another one that teaches you how to drop ship onto Facebook Marketplace, and that Facebook course will also teach you Facebook Shops as well. So both of those can be found in the description down below, or you can just go to dropshippingtitans.com. And one thing I always do is I make sure those courses are updated. I update them as needed. So for instance, if Facebook changes the look of their website, then in any lesson where I show that, I'm going to go ahead and update it so it's easy to follow along. Stuff like that. I think that makes sense. When was the last time I updated the Facebook course? That was just done recently. Again, I didn't update the entire course. That's not necessary, but I updated the lessons that needed to be updated, either because Facebook changed stuff or I developed new strategies and tactics that I inserted into the course as well. And anytime when those updates roll out, you don't have to go looking for them. They're just inside the course, right where the prior lessons were. I just replaced them with new ones. So it's not like you cannot get an old version of the course. A lot of people say, hey, I think I have the old version of the course. No, it's not possible to have the old version of the course. There's only the most updated version of the course available because I just replaced the old videos with the new ones. Hey, what's up, Jonathan? Thanks for being here. I feel like it's a trick question. Hey, what's up? What's up, Rhythm? George says, I want to start wholesale dropshipping. What do you think? Go for it, George. Wholesale dropshipping. I'm going to be releasing a video next week talking about the best suppliers that you can use for dropshipping. And that includes eBay, Facebook Marketplace. And I do talk about wholesale on there. And I talk about kind of a spoiler or, kind of a teaser for that video. I talk about in that video how dropshipping with a wholesale supplier, if you get it right, can be really, really incredible, overpowered, really. But it's hard to get to that point. The tricky thing with it is really finding a good wholesale supplier that checks off all the boxes. So George, if you're a member of my eBay course, you get my new wholesale dropshipping course for free. So my eBay course basically teaches you how to dropship using retail suppliers, and with the bonus edition of Wholesale Titans, teaches you how to dropship using wholesale suppliers. So both of those are available to you. Definitely check it out. And the tricky thing with wholesale is really finding the good suppliers that will dropship for you. So you're going to want to look for ones that do wholesale pricing, that do dropshipping, that ship out items quickly, that have good return policy, and that also have good items. To find all that is difficult, but it is possible. You just got to stick with it and keep looking for it. Eventually you will find it. And when you do find it, you kind of have like this monopoly in many ways, because most people aren't doing the legwork to find that supplier. You're going to have items that you're selling that either no one else is selling or very few other people are selling. So it's a really, really powerful position to be in. It's just a little difficult to get to that point, but definitely worth it. What are the best shipping and handling policies to implement for drop shipping from Amazon, considering the different shipping times each Amazon seller offers? So when I'm drop shipping from Amazon, I only drop ship items that are fulfilled by Amazon. FBA items, Prime items. Now, I don't use Prime to drop ship because that's not allowed by Amazon, but if it says Prime, that's an indication that it's in an Amazon warehouse, which means that the item's going to ship out quickly. It's going to have fast handling time. It's going to have fast shipping time. So you don't have to worry about slow times and or variations in time. Just concentrate on items that are going to be fulfilled by Amazon. Therefore, it's kind of, it's going to be taken care of, and they're going to get it right most of the time, vast majority of the time. Hey, what's up, Harris? We haven't seen any sort of issue with eBay and using Blue Care Express or Aqualine or anything like that. Haven't seen any problems with that at all. All right. Okay. Live for Truth says, I got an email telling me my account is under review because my selling activity changed or made more in sales. Is that something I have to worry about? No, that's usually a good thing, because what that means is that you suddenly have an increase in sales is usually what that means. So what normally happens, I'm not even sure which marketplace this is happening for you on, but it's happened for me on eBay in the past. And what I've seen is that you're still allowed to sell. At least for me, I was still allowed to sell. It wasn't like my account was suspended or locked down. I was still able to sell. And sorry, there's an ambulance going by or something. And then they just needed some information from me. They, asked me some questions, I think. Maybe they asked for my ID again. And then I got my account, back. The review went away, I should say. So for me, it wasn't a big deal. I don't think it's going to be a problem for you as well. Wally says he can't access the courses. What is the best way to contact you with questions? So Wally, just send us an email, paul@pauljlipsky.com, and we'll help you get access. I'm not sure what the issue is. So about 2 months ago, we changed the website over to a new platform, which requires a new login. Maybe that's what happened if you didn't ever set that new login up. But either way, we'll take care of you, Wally. We have great customer service. Just email us, paul@pauljlipsky.com, and we'll get back to you quickly. Gerardo says, do you recommend making multiple eBay accounts? What are the benefits of doing this? Not really, Gerardo. There's not too much need for multiple eBay accounts anymore. I used to believe in having multiple eBay accounts. I have many eBay accounts, but I don't use pretty much all of them except for 2 of them, really just one at this point. And I just found that I thought they were necessary in order to stay organized. Like I use one for drop shipping Home Depot to eBay, another one for doing Walmart to eBay, another from doing Amazon to eBay. As time went on, I found that not to be as necessary, especially when you're using a software like AutoDS where it organizes everything for you. So you're going to be organized. You can go into AutoDS and see all your orders in there and which supplier they're coming from. So I don't see a great need to have multiple eBay accounts. But certainly if you're selling on eBay and you're doing well and you've gotten like $20,000 a month in sales or more and you want a second eBay account, then at that point I would say, yeah, go for it. You can do it and you have enough experience to be able to handle multiple accounts. But for most people, getting a second account is not really going to benefit you in any way. Now, the kind of misconception here is that, let's say my eBay account gets banned, like completely banned for some reason. Well, I want a backup account. Well, if you get banned on eBay, all your accounts get banned. So it's not like having a second one is really going to protect you from that. The better thing to do is just provide good customer service, do everything you're supposed to do so you avoid a ban entirely in the first place. So this is exactly what I was talking about. We have Zainab here with his bored ape saying, my eBay account got suspended and it's suspended for good. I'm going to create a new account and it's going to be under someone else's name, someone who's living in the same house as me. Will that work? And that will not work. That will not work. So that's exactly what I said just a second ago. If you have multiple eBay accounts and one of them gets suspended permanently, they will all probably get suspended as well. I shouldn't even say probably, because I've talked to many people who've had an eBay account suspended and their other account was fine. But theoretically, it could happen, and they have every right to do that, and it does happen to people. So how do they know if another account belongs to you? Well, they look if it's the same name on the account, same address, same credit card information, same banking information, same IP address. They look for all that stuff and they link you with other accounts. And if one of them goes down, then they have the right to suspend all of them as well. So yeah, same address, it's not going to work for that. Gerardo says, by the way, Gerardo, great questions today. I'm loving them. Great. Keep them coming. Says, how can I use Track Taco for Walmart orders if my listings are uploaded and managed by AutoDS? So if you're using AutoDS's order fulfillment service, the way that works is that as orders, if you turn it on and activate it, then as orders come into your eBay store, AutoDS can actually automatically fulfill them for you for certain websites. So it can automatically order them from Amazon for you and from Walmart, for example. And if you do that, then you do want to actually check off the additional box that says, hey, also mask my tracking numbers using Blue Care Express or using Aqualine. I forget, I don't know how to say it. I think it's like Aqualine or something like that. Because what that will do is it will take any tracking number that's given by Walmart or no tracking number if they don't give you one, and it will replace it with a good tracking number that can be uploaded into eBay. So you do want to make sure that if you're doing the auto ordering, you have that selected as well. Yeah, why is it? Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, we answered that question. Do I recommend using Hip Shipper on AutoDS? What advice can you give on that? To be honest, I've never used Hip Shipper. Hip Shipper is a way for you to sell items internationally, and it looks pretty easy to do. So most dropshippers, I recommend that you just sell to customers in the United States and nowhere outside the United States, not Puerto Rico, not Canada, not Mexico, just the 48 states, the lower continental 48 states, whatever you want to call them. And the reason for that is just because it's a lot more straightforward, especially with those tracking numbers. It gets kind of complicated sending them overseas. There are different ways you can sell internationally. So eBay has an international shipping program. It used to be called the Global Shipping Program, but they got rid of that and they have this new international shipping program. And you can also use a third-party service like HipShipper. Like I said, I've never used HipShipper. It doesn't look too hard to use. Basically, the way it works is you ship the items to HipShipper and they forward them along to the customers. The other option is the international shipping program through eBay. And it is a really cool program. I used to use a global shipping program, which is similar, but this new program looks to be even better. All you have to do with it is, let's say there's a customer who orders an item from you. Well, first, let me back up. You have to opt into it. You're not in it automatically. But once you're opted into it, customers from overseas can purchase items from you. So let's say there's a customer in France that purchases an item from you. All you have to do is ship that item. Let's say it's from Walmart. Ship it to eBay's warehouse, and they will repackage it and send it overseas. So they worry about all the international shipping charges, the tariffs, the fees, all of that. And if there's a problem with the order, the eBay refunds the buyer and you get to keep your money as a seller, which is pretty incredible. The problem with it is that eBay tracks the items using the tracking number. So if you don't have a valid tracking number on the package that matches the one that you upload into eBay, it's not going to work. So where we run into that issue is with Amazon and with Walmart, who don't always give us valid tracking numbers. So that's where it can be a problem. But if you're using a supplier that always gives you tracking numbers that you can upload into eBay, then that is a really good option for you to go with the international shipping program, because it is just kind of easy and the returns are pretty incredible, that whole return policy. Odima says, do I have to get a reseller's agreement with a retail supplier before I can dropship their products? Or can I just purchase products on their website when customers make orders? No, you don't need any sort of agreement. You don't need to reach out to Walmart and say, hey, am I allowed to dropship from you? There's no way to do that. No one's going to help you, okay? No one's going to say yes. No one's going to say no either. So yeah, there's nothing you have to do if you're dropshipping from a retail store like Walmart, Home Depot, or Amazon. Now, all those websites have policies, or a lot of them have policies regarding reselling. So you might want to be aware of that, but also talk to people in the community, like on Facebook, or I have some videos here on YouTube about different suppliers that you can dropship from. In fact, I'm releasing one next week. I just edited the video about dropshipping suppliers and which ones are good for dropshipping. And I talk about, hey, this one, if you try to dropship from them, they're not going to let you do it. They're going to shut down your account. But this one's good, and Amazon's good, but only if you don't use Prime. So I go over all that in the video. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to watch out for that video next week. But that's really what you want to be aware of with retail suppliers. With wholesale suppliers, yeah, you do need an agreement with them. Do I recommend a new eBay store for wholesale dropshipping, or can I do it on the same account? Yeah, I would do it on the same account. Also because you don't know, if wholesale dropshipping is going to work for you, if you're going to like it. So it's better just to do it on an existing account. Don't have to open up a new one that you then have to go through and only find out later that wholesale is not for you. So I would just do it on the same account. My pleasure, Cred. Moment says, is Facebook Marketplace dropshipping worth it? Yeah, definitely. But again, if you're in the United States, otherwise it's really not. Facebook Marketplace, there's just a lot of people shopping on there. Facebook, my impression based on what I talked about in the beginning of the video, this live, is that Facebook is really still interested in Facebook Marketplace and shops. And they are putting resources and time behind it and thought behind it. They want it to do well. So they're pushing it, is the impression that I get. So there are a lot of people on there. I think it's only going to grow, and it's still in its infancy. There's still not a ton of sellers on Facebook Marketplace, and it's a great place to be dropshipping. I had to upload a return label to my buyer, but the label I got from my supplier from Walmart says Walmart on it. Is that okay to do? I do it. I haven't had anyone complain about it. When I first started out, I used to open it up I have a MacBook. I would open up in Preview and draw a square over where it says Walmart and just cover up their name. But we stopped doing that. So that's an option for you if you're worried. I purchased your extension, but it's not working on eBay. You can email us, paul@pauljlipsky.com. We can help you out. Not sure. Maybe you're not using it correctly. Maybe you have something wrong with your browser. We'll work with you to make sure we figure out why it's not working for you, whatever the case may be. Hey, what's up, Nancy? Ron is here. What's up, Ron? Ron says, hey, Paul, after you optimize the title and description, how is the easy way to find the product that you are promoting in eBay or wherever you got the product from? So I think what you're asking, Ron, I hope I'm understanding your question correctly, but I think what you're saying is, okay, you've listed an item from Amazon onto eBay. Now let's say someone sells it on eBay. How do you find the item on Amazon to buy it now? Because maybe you listed 100 products. So how do you find the right one on Amazon? So if you use a software like AutoDS, this is easy to do because you can just log into AutoDS, you see the order right there, and it'll actually have a link directly to the product on Amazon. So that's the easiest way to do it. Otherwise, if you don't use software, then I would keep track of everything in a spreadsheet every time you list an item. Then when it sells, you just look up the title or the item number on your spreadsheet, and then the product can be found right there. Geo says, I tried Track Taco. It didn't give me a date that the package is going to be delivered. For example, the item shipped on April 26th and being delivered on May 19th. I'm not understanding the scenario here, to be honest. Because you're saying that it was delivered on May 19th, but I don't understand, to be honest. Maybe we can clarify. Sweet. Awesome. Currently transitioning to wholesaling. Thank you, Pat, for everything. Thank you, mean Paul. That's cool, though. Both start with P. Please hit the like button. Yeah, guys. Forgot to remind you, if you're here and enjoying the video, please give the video a thumbs up just to let me know that you're enjoying the content here. You didn't read my comment above. I'll have to scroll up and try to find it. But anyway, do you have an idea of how I can increase my listings? Just list more items. If you use a software like AutoDS, then it will help you quickly list items onto eBay. I'm assuming you're talking about eBay. That's the fastest way, because doing it manually, like adding items onto eBay one by one, manually is going to take a long time. But using AutoDS will really speed things up. And to take a step back from that, finding the products takes a lot of time as well. So you want to make sure you're using software to help you do product research. So I use Zeek Analytics. It helps me find products to sell really quickly. And then I just plug them into AutoDS, do some optimization. It makes the process go so much faster than just doing it kind of like manually one by one. Live for Truth is, how does being tax exempt benefit us if we use AutoDS? So I think what you're asking is, if I'm using AutoDS's order fulfillment service, how does tax exemption benefit you? So let's unpack that a bit. So if you're doing orders manually, meaning anytime someone orders something from you on eBay, you go to your supplier's website, whether that's Walmart or wherever, and you order the item yourself. If you're doing that, you should definitely consider becoming tax exempt. I have a whole module in my course talking about why you should become tax exempt, how you can become tax exempt, how the application works for Walmart, another lesson for another lesson for Amazon, another lesson for Home Depot. So you can become tax exempt on all those websites. and for wholesale as well. And the benefit of that is that now when you buy the items from like Home Depot, you don't pay sales tax to Home Depot. And that's because you're selling to a customer on eBay and they're the ones paying sales tax. And eBay takes care of the sales tax after that. So definitely become tax exempt if you're in that scenario. But if you have AutoDS fulfilling your orders for you, then AutoDS gives you two options for fulfilling orders. One, it says, hey, we can fulfill the orders using your accounts, meaning your Walmart account or your Amazon account, or we can use our accounts. Now, if you use the AutoDS accounts, then you can't use tax exemption. But if you use your accounts, then you can give them accounts that have tax exemption on them. So that's where you could actually get tax exemption and still use AutoDS's order fulfillment. Yes. Yep. I think I just answered that question for you. What's up? Wally says, eBay downgraded me from above standard to below standard. How do I get my above standard back? My sales are very good in spite of this. Sorry, I'm so sorry to hear that, Wally. That is really frustrating when you fall below standard. So every seller on eBay has a rating. It goes from top rated, then below that is above standard, and then the bottom is below standard. So you need to stay at above standard. Top rated seller, it doesn't really give you any benefits. Above standard is where you want to be. Below standard is what you want to avoid. Now, if you stay in above standard, everything's good for you, no problems. But if you fall below standard and you stay there for too long, eBay might actually increase your fees. They could penalize you in other ways as well, but usually what they do is they increase your fees. It's not a good place to be. You don't want to be there. The way you avoid it is by avoiding what's called defects on your account. You get defects if you have a case that's open against you, an item not received case, and you don't respond to it appropriately in enough time. And then eBay has to step in and resolve it for you. If eBay steps in and resolves it, you get a defect. If someone opens a return case against you and eBay has to step in, you get a defect on your account. And there's a couple other ways you can get one with tracking numbers and things like that. Or I don't think you can get them with tracking numbers, but those are the two main ways you get defects. You don't want them to happen. So always respond to those cases. Then you can stay above standard and you don't have to run into that issue. Now, if you do fall below standard, what you need to do is you need to figure out what those defects are. You can see them in your account. Call eBay and try to get them removed. You have to get them removed within 30 days of getting them. That's what you really want to push to try to do. If that doesn't work, then the game is really selling products, avoiding any more defects, and eventually the math will work out where you'll be back above standard, which is where you want to be. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know the answer to that. Hey, what's up, Supercars? Yeah, I think I answered that one for you already. Gerardo says, I recently sold a table that I sourced from AliExpress, and I received a message from the seller saying my item would take 13 days to ship out. I told the eBay buyer this, and they wanted to cancel. The problem is the seller claimed he already shipped the desk out, so therefore I couldn't cancel. Now the item is on its way to the customer, but I already funded. How would you handle this? Note, I had my bank reverse the payment since seller didn't ship on time, but I want to avoid this problem altogether in the future. To be honest, I'm thinking of not using AliExpress at all. Yeah. This is one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of AliExpress. I'm curious so when you're buying from AliExpress or drop shipping from AliExpress, you can choose to just drop ship or buy from their US warehouse, which is quite limited. Otherwise, all the items are coming from China. So I'm curious, I'm assuming that you just ordered something from China. You want to make sure that when you're drop shipping from AliExpress, you have for your eBay listing a really long handling and shipping time. So see what it is for that item because it changes, but you do want a long shipping and handling time. And you want to be honest and say, hey, this is coming from China. This is not coming from the US. You want to put that in the actual shipping policy. So there's honesty there and the customer knows. In this situation, I think you did the right thing by reversing the payment because it seemed like there was some dishonesty there about when the item would ship out. But in the future, that's what you want to do. You want to have a longer shipping and handling time and avoid that seller or just avoid AliExpress entirely. I don't think it's a bad supplier to use, but I think for beginners, I would really focus on US-based suppliers, just a lot less headache. But I get AliExpress because the items are so cheap from there. You just got to be kind of careful which sellers you're purchasing from and kind of be on top of that. You have to pay tax sales tax when AutoDS orders with their own accounts. How do some people sell items way cheaper on eBay? Any ideas? Yeah, so some of those people are doing wholesale, which means that they are getting better prices on the product than you can get since you don't have the wholesale connection. So one option there is you get that wholesale connection, right? And then you are able to sell those items cheaper. Another way they're doing it is, let's say they're items from Walmart. They might be buying the items from their local Walmart store when they're on clearance or on discount, and then they're able to sell them for cheaper. Or there's something more nefarious going on where the products are stolen or they're using gift cards that were acquired through fraud of some kind or using credit cards that were stolen. Bad stuff. There are bad people out there doing stuff like that, unfortunately. Cyber Player says, can you drop ship with Amazon FBA? My brother recommended it to me, but I'm not 100% sure. I kind of already answered that before, but you can buy products from Amazon. You can drop ship products from Amazon that are in Amazon's warehouse, meaning they are Amazon FBA items, but don't use a Prime account. Don't use an Amazon Prime account. Just use a regular Amazon account. What about Shopify dropshipping? So one of my most popular videos over the past couple of months is a YouTube short I made talking about why Shopify is a terrible idea. Kind of tongue in cheek with that one because I don't think Shopify is a terrible idea. I think it's a pretty good idea if you know what you're doing. But a lot of people don't like that video. I think a lot of Shopify dropshippers have watched that and are like, what are you talking about? You're so wrong about this. But, the underlying premise I have in that video, I still believe in, which is that when you're dropshipping on Shopify, there's a lot of really difficult parts of it. You have to build a website. You have to do product research and find basically one product to sell. And then you have to do marketing. And marketing is so hard to do. I mean, like Facebook ads or TikTok, paying TikTok influencers and making videos for them to be posting to their TikToks. It's so hard to do. So hard to make money with it. When you get it and you put in the hard work and you do it and you get it, it's great. I have a lot of friends that have done really well with Shopify dropshipping. I'm really interested in trying it out this year or next year, Shopify dropshipping, and telling you guys how it's going. But I still maintain for beginners, dropshipping on Marketplace is just going to be a lot simpler. There's already customers on Facebook Marketplace and on eBay. You don't have to worry about the marketing, which is the hardest part of Shopify. You don't even have to worry about building a website, right? Because we're selling on an existing website. So you can literally get started in an hour with eBay and Facebook Marketplace dropshipping. So I think for beginners, it is just like a lot more viable, a lot more straightforward, a lot kind of easier to get into in that regard. But Shopify is maybe, I shouldn't have said horrible in that video because I'm getting some hate for it. But I just kind of wanted to grab people's attention and kind of explain my take on it, compare it to marketplaces. I don't know what's up with that. So, but it should still say when it's delivered. It should still say, oh, it's been delivered at this point. Sometimes I get tracking numbers for stuff I order for myself and there's no delivery date for it. but then I get it eventually and the tracking number says it was delivered. eBay doesn't let me do more lists. However, it's about I'm not understanding what you're asking. Gerardo says, I had someone on Fiverr remove a negative feedback I received for $15. Brought me back to 100%. There are people on Fiverr that supposedly can reinstate banned accounts as well. What do you think of this? You know, that's when you kind of get in some sketchy areas. I've talked to a lot of people about this. The only way that I have discovered where I've been able to kind of influence my eBay account to that degree was when I had a virtual assistant working for me, and she claimed she had a friend who worked for eBay. So through that connection, it was possible, she said, to remove negative feedback and some other stuff for the account as well. So, and she said, like, if I had friends that were suspended, she could help with that. But it was all because there was an insider at eBay. So it's definitely really sketchy. I'm not sure if you would get in trouble with that or the person doing it. The person doing it definitely would. I don't know if you'd get in trouble for that. It never seemed worth the risk to me. So I said, no, I'm not interested in that. But my guess is that that's what's going on. And like I said, I just don't think it's worth the risk for me. I guess if you were suspended and you had no other choice, yeah, what do you got to lose besides the money that you pay them? Someone overseas that you don't even know if they're going to run away with your money, I guess that would be a risk as well. Tim says, is it okay to have my UPS business street address on my EIN and my home address on resellers, or do they have to match? I'm not sure, to be honest. Mine match, but I'm not sure the answer. When you drop ship on eBay, when you do eBay drop shipping, should you, or is there a point having ads on TikTok, for example, for the products that can? Now, if you're doing drop shipping on like Facebook or eBay, weird noises. Don't pay for ads on like Facebook or TikTok or anything else like that. It's not worth it. There's plenty of organic traffic on eBay. You can do promoted listings on eBay if you want to pay for ads of any kind. There's customers already on eBay looking to purchase stuff. It's not going to really help to have external ads. Ron says, I noticed AutoDS has products listed. I think he means that AutoDS has, if you log in, like a whole catalogs of items that you can just select and list to your eBay store. It's like their own little marketplace on AutoDS. Do you suggest using their products? So that service, the I forget what they call it now, their catalog of items, their marketplace, that's what I think they call it. It's something I hadn't used for a while because I like using my suppliers, like Home Depot and Walmart, for instance. But it does appear that they add some really good suppliers in there that are kind of like vetted by them. So for instance, there's a new supplier called Dropship Friendly. If you go to dropshipfriendly.com, you could check them out. That's run by Patrick Marketer, who's another YouTuber. He talks a lot about eBay and Facebook Marketplace dropshipping and Etsy, creating AI art for Etsy. And he helped create that website. And there's a lot of, every product that's on there is specifically curated, like specifically picked by Patrick and the other people on the team who are drop shippers for products that they know do well on Facebook Marketplace. So it's a pretty good, even though there's not a ton of items on there, it's really good because it's really great for drop shippers. And those products show up on AutoDS as well inside that. So it's kind of like a curated list that AutoDS has. How do you calculate sales tax for your products when you use fulfillment by AutoDS? Yeah, I usually do about 6 or 7%, just flat. Sometimes it's going to be higher, sometimes it's going to be lower. I'm not following you, to be honest. Maybe you can like rephrase that a bit. Can I use a Visa gift card to load balance onto AutoDS? So what Crypto Juice means is that when you when you use auto fulfilling with AutoDS, you have to put money into your account so that AutoDS can then purchase the items. He's asking if he can use a Visa gift card. I don't know. I've never tried. Try it. See what happens. Do you pay a lot of taxes drop shipping? You pay the same taxes that everyone else pays based on income, right? So if you're an employee in the United States, like you go work at a coffee shop and you get a W-2 at the end of the year, right? It says how much money you made for the year. Let's say it's $40,000. Okay. Throughout the year, your employer is taking out taxes for that, right? As an eBay seller or a drop shipper, you're your own business. So no one's taking out taxes for you. So you have to make sure you're setting aside money for taxes at the end of the year so that when it comes time to file your tax return, you're going to report how much you've made in profit and you get taxed on that. So if you made $40,000, then the taxes are going to be like about the same as if you were a W-2 employee. Not exactly the same though, because as an employee, as a business owner, you can write stuff off, right? You can there are many ways to kind of like lower your taxes a bit. But I'm not a tax expert, but yeah, it's the same amount that everyone else pays, but you only pay taxes on the profit. So if you did $100,000 in sales this year, but you only profited $50,000 because the other half went to buying the items, went to paying eBay fees, and maybe paying a virtual assistant as well. You're only going to get taxed on the $50,000, not the full $100,000, right? If you can only get tax exempt in your own state for Home Depot, has it lost a little value to use as a supplier? You can get tax exempt in multiple states, but you just have to get sales tax permits in multiple states for that to work. And so that's what you should do. You could look. If you want to know the price difference between AliExpress products in the US warehouse and the ones in China, just look. Sometimes they're about the same. Usually the US warehouse costs a little bit more. Sometimes it costs a lot more. So you got to look. Do I rate stores? I used to do this, but I just don't really advertise it, but I do have a service where I can look at your store and do a store review of it. If you're interested in that, you can email me, paul@pauljlipsky.com, and we could talk about the details, send you information about it. But like I said, it's not something I generally advertise that I do, but I would be willing to do a store review for someone. With a VA then. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, what we found is that you can just like keep asking them and contact them at different times and just find a different someone who works there, and you should be able to get it raised. I'm not sure how much you've tried, but that's kind of what we've seen. Just keep kind of asking them. Just don't do ads on external websites. There's no point in it. You're just going to waste your time. If you set up an ads on TikTok, I don't know how long that takes you. You could be listing more items, and that's going to be a lot more valuable. GM says, when I list an item through AutoDS onto eBay, the item shows out of stock, but on Walmart, it's in stock. How do I fix this? Well, there's a couple of reasons it might be showing as out of stock on AutoDS, even though it actually is in stock. So inside your settings for AutoDS, you can set it up so that if the item would take too long to be delivered to the customer, after a certain number of days that you put into AutoDS, AutoDS will just count it as out of stock. Also, you could put in, hey, the supplier has to have at least 10 in stock. If it has less than 10 in stock, then AutoDS will just count it as out of stock. So does that make sense? You got to go into the settings and change that. So that's possible. It's also possible that it's just an error on AutoDS's part. So if you find that, just send them a message, let them know. They're always trying to make AutoDS better. So, let them know. Do some wholesalers offer tax exempt? Most wholesalers offer tax exemption. It's very easy. It's like part of the process. They just kind of expect it. So sometimes they even like require it. So yeah, you definitely want to, if they don't give you tax exemption, ask them about it. There's little to no traffic to my eBay store. What do you suggest that I do? List more products and list the right products. What this really comes down to, if you want to be successful with eBay dropshipping, is you got to do good product research. That's a skill that you need to master. And if you master it, it really makes a difference between a successful store and one that doesn't make any money. So learn product research. I have a ton of videos in my course about it that really goes in detail. I have some overviews of how it works on my channel, some videos about it. So you definitely want to master product research, and then that's going to help you a lot. And list more products. Is there a way to pay less taxes? I think you mean, if you're talking about income tax, we already talked about sales tax. We had a bunch of questions about that. But if you're talking about income tax, how to pay less in income tax, yeah, there's ways to lower your taxes. But again, I'm not a tax expert. I'm not going to talk on that. But look on some websites. There's all sorts of different things you can do, like business expenses and different things like that, to lower your taxes. Mike says, have I been able to use any new AI to dropship? Yeah, Mike, I have a video coming out this Thursday. So in 2 days, watch out for it. I think it's going to be it's a really fun video. I really enjoyed making it. It's all about how I use Midjourney, which is a AI art tool, to make fake eBay listings. So for dropshipping. So check it out, because it's pretty amazing some of the results we got with that. Gio says, can you tell me about Track Taco? As soon as you make a sale, you have to use Track Taco. How does that work? Thanks. So Track Taco is a service that lets you basically generate tracking numbers to replace ones that you have that aren't usable. So again, Amazon might give you a tracking number that's an AMZL logistics tracking number. So it's one it's not a tracking number you can upload into eBay. It's their own fulfillment company. The blue vans, that's that tracking number. So when you get that, you don't have a tracking number for eBay. So you use Track Taco, and now you can get one that you can upload into eBay instead. So you don't have to use it. If your supplier gives you a FedEx, a UPS, USPS tracking number, use that. But if they don't, that's when you want to use Track Taco. Or if you have AutoDS set up, you can use Blue Care Express or Aqualine. Those are other options as well. Yes. Does eBay read the conversations you make with the buyers? So I believe they have like a bot that scans all the messages and looks for things. Is looking out for people saying, hey, pay me on PayPal instead of paying me here on eBay, or Venmo me instead of paying me here on eBay. That's not allowed on eBay. So I think they have bots that are looking for that. But let's say your messages don't show up, don't set off any bots. But if a customer opens up a case saying they never received the item, and you say, oh, the customer said they did receive the item, eBay representatives will look at your messages back and forth and see, oh yeah, the customer said they did receive it. They're lying. Or you admitted that you never sent it. You're lying, right? Goes either way. I haven't seen that. I would contact them about that. Nathaniel says, I like the idea of being able to do this from anywhere. What is your favorite thing about drop shipping? Man, Nathaniel, it's about the financial independence of it. 7 years ago, I was working in New York City. I had an office job in Manhattan, 9 to 5, had to be there every day. I liked my coworkers. I liked being in New York City, but that's what I was set to do for the next 30, 40 years. And then a year after that, I was able to quit my job, travel the world full time for 2 years. Now I'm in a state that I like a lot more. That really jives with me a lot more. I'm in Colorado, and I have a lot more control over my own time. Like that is what it's all about for me. I can't tell you like how much of a difference that has made in my life, just being in full control of it. So that's what I love about it, just being financially independent. Most people try to reach that at 65 when they retire. And I feel like I reached that at 30, which is pretty incredible. Yes, I'm still working, still doing stuff, but it's on my time, right? I can go out in the middle of the day. Every day now, I go for a bike ride in the middle of the day because I love it. It's the best time of day. It's bright and sunny. It's really nice. And then I work, the other parts of the day. I go see some family and some friends in the middle of the day, and maybe I work at night. Just like complete flexibility and autonomy and control, which I love. A couple more questions, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. Try to get through this a bit faster. Do you think variations tend to sell more? Yes, I do. If it's a good variation, if it's a good product. So variations meaning, example of a good example of this is, let's say it's a shirt. It's available in red, blue, and green. Well, that could be one listing on eBay. One listing for the shirt, but the eBay buyer can choose if it's red, blue, or green. So that is a variation. Those do really well because let's say the red's really popular and sells once a day, and the blue one only sells once a week. Well, all the sales lump together, so the whole listing gets boosted up. So it's just a lot more powerful when it's working right. But if a variation isn't selling, just delete that particular variation. It's for promoted listings, the percentage being taken is from the total price. They don't know what your profit is. No, you can't use Amazon Business Prime either. You could have to just use a regular Amazon account. AutoDS will increase the price of your items based on what you have in the settings. So it's not going to be double. It's just based on your settings in AutoDS. And that's something I cover in my course, how to set up your settings so that you don't lose money and you actually make money when you sell items. All right, so that's the full hour just about. Thanks everyone for coming out for such great questions we had this week. A lot of great questions and great information I got to share with you guys. If you guys like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I do these every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want some questions answered, put it on your calendar. I'll see you next week at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And until then, stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.